Welcome, everyone, to the Newvision Oldways Podcast, a greatly ambitious journey of discovery where we can all learn to live better, mentally healthier, and more fulfilling lives. If you're just discovering us, feel free to go back and take the journey from the beginning. And if you're already a Newvision Oldways fan, welcome back and enjoy Season 5. And now, here is your host, Tony Marinaccio.
You are listening to Newvision Oldways, the podcast that explores timeless wisdom for the modern mind in a fun, relaxed, and most important, interactive way with you, the listener. I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and let's get the episode started. Welcome, Visioneers, to a very special milestone, the 50th episode of the Newvision Oldways Podcast. Okay. I appreciate the standing ovation. I'll be signing autographs in the hallway after the show. But in the meantime, 50 episodes. I cannot believe it. Seems like yesterday I was just flirting with the idea of a podcast, but 6 continents, 30 countries, 220 cities, and thousands of listeners later, we are still going stronger than ever. 50 episodes about life, risk, growth, courage, and the wild, beautiful mess of being human. When I started this podcast, I didn't know exactly where it would lead. I really didn't. I just knew that there were questions that needed asking and truths that needed exploring. I have said it a few times along the way, but I am just like many of you. I am trying to live my best life. And when I started this, I thought, if I am attempting to not only improve my life, but flourish, there must be many people out there trying to do the same thing. And so Newvision Oldways was born. This isn't some guy's way of spewing out opinions that no one cares about. It's about changing the way we think about everything. Because when we open our minds to all of the amazing possibilities that are out there, instead of fearing each step along the way, we begin to realize that we can make our lives the way we want them to be. Our minds are the most powerful machines in the world. Why not get them firing on all cylinders and see how wonderful life can really be? Today, we're going to bring it all together. We're going to celebrate what we've built, what we've learned, and most of all, what's still possible. Because this episode is about all of us. It's about how far we have come, but it's also about the endless possibilities that are there for us to capitalize on if we allow ourselves to think like the powerhouses we can be instead of the anxiety and depressed riddled people that we have been. It is time for all of us to take that next leap forward. Is your past going to lead to a story of only regret, or will everything you have learned be a doorway to endless possibility? There is no better time than right now to find out as we jump into the 50th Newvision Oldways episode, The Unlived Life, Regret or Endless Possibilities.
Regrets are normal, and they mean that you care about living a good life. So that painful feeling is like the rumble strip on the side of the road, and that buzzes when you're drifting. The feeling of regret is a warning to straighten out your course.
That clip was from therapist Emma McAdam, and she so perfectly set the stage for today's discussion. Somewhere inside of each of us is a version of a life we didn't live. Maybe it's a dream we shelved because real life got in the way. Maybe it's the version of you that couldn't help but play it safe no matter how much things meant to you. For a lot of people, including myself, that thought, that unlived life becomes a shadow. It whispers in the dark corners of your mind, what if? Why didn't I? But here's what I've learned over 50 episodes of deep conversations and self-exploration. Regret doesn't have to be a tombstone by any means. It can be a compass. Every single what if in our past can be reimagined as a what's next. The unlived life isn't gone. It is waiting for you to give it breath, waiting for you to take the first small risk towards it. Over these 50 episodes, we've talked about neuroplasticity, how our brains are capable of change at any age. We've explored stoicism and mindfulness, tools for staying grounded when life shakes us to the core. We've discussed courage, not the Hollywood version kind, but the quiet courage it takes to start again. And we've asked, what does it mean to lead into your own life instead of following someone else's script? If you take time to sit alone, and I mean really alone, and meditate, think about whether or not you are living the best version of you. Or did your mind get hijacked by outside forces and you are living someone else's vision out of what they want your life to look like? I am certainly not saying that you need to abandon your current life no matter what and start all over. I am asking, are you the best you can be? Why is that important? Think about why you distract yourself from life by scrolling endlessly on your phone, why you watch football from sun up on a Sunday to sundown, why you feel the need to go out drinking every weekend just for something to do. That is a part of us who gave up on what our lives could be if we just had the energy, the drive, the focus to move forward. Is watching football or going out with friends a bad thing? Of course not. Even though I don't tell them enough, I love my friends. I appreciate each and every one of them. I love football for that matter. But is there a life unlived that is burning a hole in your gut every time you think about it? What is stopping so many of us from acting on whatever life is? Do you believe that it just cannot happen for one reason or another? All of the questions and conversations point to the truth. You are never finished. If you are alive on this earth, then you are not finished. Your mind, your body, your spirit, they're all capable of rewriting your story. If you are listening right now thinking, it's too late for me, I'm here to tell you, it isn't. The brain doesn't retire from growth. Let me say that again. The brain doesn't retire from growth. The soul doesn't age out of purpose. Every scar, every missed chance, every detour, they're not roadblocks. They're breadcrumbs leading you back to yourself.
Guilt is an acute feeling of regret or dissatisfaction or unhappiness with something we've done in the past. And every human being has guilt. There is no way around it because everybody has made mistakes. Everybody has done things that they are not proud of. Everyone has acted in a way that is not in alignment with their values. There is no way to be a human being in this world and not have somewhat of a track record of screwing up. There is no way. So I just want to highlight that a little bit. Like if you're out here thinking you're the only one that's got this much baggage and this much backstory, no, you're not. Trust me. I promise you, you're not.
That was Dr. Scott Eilers. And as he was alluding to there, regret and guilt has had a bad reputation. We treat it like something to bury. But what if regret is a signal? What if it's your spirit tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, there's still more to do? Instead of letting regret stop you, let it guide you. Regret can be a teacher showing you where your real value lives, what you really care about, and how, with utilizing your knowledge now, can lead you to your own promised land. When you feel that ache for what could have been, that's not weakness, that's aliveness. It's your inner compass begging for a course correction. So let's not fear regret, let's thank it. Because without it, we might never realize what truly mattered. I have never bought into the idea that someone has no regrets just because they are successful now, as if the success wiped away all of the bad things that you did along the way. No, regrets can be healthy as long as you learn from them, as long as you commit to not making the same mistakes that you made, as long as you make peace with whatever and whomever you wronged along the way. If regret teaches us what we value, then impermanence teaches us how to value it. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned over these 50 episodes and over a lifetime of reflection is this: everything changes, everything ends, everything begins again. It's a truth that can be terrifying at first, the idea that nothing lasts forever. But if you sit with it long enough, if you breathe it in, you realize something profound. Impermanence isn't a threat, it's a gift. Because without change, there is no growth. Without endings, there could be no new beginnings. And without letting go, we never find out what else is waiting for us. We live so much of our lives trying to hold on. We try to hold on to identities, to relationships, to comfort zones that once made us feel safe. But what if the real freedom comes from learning how to let go gracefully? That's what I mean by the term radical impermanence. Not just accepting that things change, but embracing that change is as the very rhythm of life. It's not radical because it's new. It's radical because it's honest. Think about it. The person you were 10 years ago no longer exists. The fears that once ruled you, the dreams that once defined you, many of them have transformed, faded, or evolved. And that's not a loss. That's a metamorphosis. When we resist impermanence, we suffer. When we embrace it, we grow wings. This understanding changes how we view regret too. If we believe that our choices are set in stone, that our stories are fixed, then regret feels permanent, like a sentence. But if we accept impermanence, then everything is fluid, that nothing is final. Then regret becomes a doorway, a movement, not a monument. Radical impermanence tells us that no emotion, no failure, no identity is ever final. You could fall apart and come back together 1,000 times, and each time you'll be a little wiser and a little freer. Every season of your life asks for a new version of you. Sometimes the hardest part isn't becoming that person, it's saying goodbye to the one you were before. But that's where the magic is. That's where the possibility lives, in the letting go. So when you think about your life unlived, remember this. It's not too late because life itself is never static. You can rebuild, reshape, reimagine at any age, at any stage. Everything is temporary, and that's what makes it precious. That's what gives it meaning. That's what gives you the chance to begin again, not once, but over and over in infinite beautiful ways. There is a powerful truth that runs through every spiritual tradition, but perhaps nowhere is it more beautifully articulated than in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It teaches that the only way to be truly free is to make peace with impermanence, to understand that death in all its forms is not an ending, but a transition, not just the death of the body, but the death of identities, beliefs, dreams, and the versions of ourselves that we've outgrown. To the Tibetans, learning how to die moment by moment is the same as learning how to live. Because when you stop clinging to what we can't keep, we stop suffering. When we stop fearing the inevitable changes of life, we start to experience something extraordinary: freedom. Freedom isn't just the absence of rules or responsibilities. It's the release from illusion that we can control the flow of life. Think about it. How much of your pain comes from resistance, from fighting to keep things as they were, to keep time from moving forward, to keep relationships from changing, to keep ourselves from evolving? We say we want peace, but peace doesn't live in control. Peace lives in surrender. When you embrace impermanence, you no longer see endings as losses. You see them as openings. You begin to understand that everything you let go of gives birth to something new, a new experience, a new insight, a new you. And that's the secret the Tibetan masters were whispering all along. To transcend fear, you must walk straight into it. To transcend death, you must stop running from it. To truly live, you must allow yourself to die a little each day, to ego, to control, to attachment, and in doing so, you awaken to an infinite renewal that is life itself. Every day, the universe offers us small rehearsals for letting go. A conversation ends, a day fades, a moment of joy passes. Each one is a chance to practice impermanence, to honor what was and make space for what's next. When you start living this way, when you stop clinging and start flowing, something incredible happens. The fear of loss begins to fade, and in its place rises a quiet, unshakable strength, a trust, again, in life itself. Because if everything is temporary, then everything is also possible. Let me repeat that. Because if everything is temporary, then everything is also possible. Imagine living your life without fear of endings. Imagine seeing every change, every death, literal or symbolic, as an initiation into the next form of your becoming. That's true freedom. That's the kind of freedom that no system, no failure, no aging process, no heartbreak can ever take away. Because it's the freedom that comes from within, from your willingness to ride the waves of change instead of trying to stop the ocean. And once you understand that, you realize you've been free all along. You just had to embrace it. And if impermanence teaches us how to grow, it also teaches us how to be free. Because the more we resist change, the more we suffer. But when we embrace it, truly embrace it, we find something the Tibetans understood long ago. Freedom isn't the absence of endings, it's the acceptance of them. There's something inside of all of us that wants control. We cling to plans, expectations, routines, believing that if we can just manage everything perfectly, we'll finally find peace. But life, as we always find out, doesn't work that way. Life has never asked for our control. It's only ever asked for our participation. The irony is this: the tighter we grip, the more we lose. Because the moment we try to control everything around us, we stop being fully alive within it. I have spent a lot of my life trying to control outcomes, to fix, to predict, to prevent. But what I've learned through experience, through loss, through growth, through this podcast, is that control is often just fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of uncertainty, fear of seeing who we really are without the illusion of control holding us together. But when we finally loosen that grip, when we let go of how we think things should be, that's when life starts to move again. That's when the world can begin to breathe for us. Releasing control isn't surrendering in defeat. It's surrendering to life itself. It's saying, I don't know what's next, and that's okay. I don't need to understand it all to trust that something beautiful is unfolding. When you stop trying to direct every scene of your story, the universe becomes your co-writer. And the story, it gets better. It gets wilder. It gets truer. Because now you're not living a rehearsed life. You're living a real one. This is what it means to open your mind's eye, to finally see what's been hidden behind all of that striving and fear. The truth is, control puts blinders on your soul. It narrows your field of vision until you're only seeing what you expect to see, not what's actually possible. Remember the last episode about the doors of perception? If you haven't, go back and check that one out. It fits perfectly right here. When you release control, those blinders fall away. Suddenly, life isn't a straight, narrow tunnel anymore. It's a horizon, a vast horizon, alive, unwritten. And in that moment, something shifts inside of you. You stop trying to chase perfection and start chasing meaning. You stop performing life and start experiencing it. That's when creativity flows again. That's when healing begins. That's when love finds its way back in. Because when you let go, you make space. Space for possibility, for spontaneity, for something greater than your own plans. So if you feel stuck right now, if life feels heavy, rigid, or suffocating, maybe it's not because you've lost your way. Maybe it's because you're holding on too tightly. Try letting go, not recklessly, but faithfully. Let life move through you instead of trying to stand in its way. Because once you release control, you don't lose your power, you reclaim it. Not the power to dictate, but the power to flow, the power to live with presence, purpose, and peace. You were never meant to live with blinders on. Your vision was never meant to be small. The whole world, your whole unlived life, is waiting right outside the boundaries of your control. All you have to do is let go. If impermanence teaches us to accept change and freedom teaches us to trust it, then this next step is about how we live that truth by letting go of control and allowing life to guide us. When I think about the phrase Newvision Oldways, it's always meant something simple to me. You can honor where you came from, your old ways, while embracing a new vision for who you could still become. That's what this show has been all about: reinvention, rediscovery, and renewal. And the truth is, the possibilities never end. Every morning you wake up, you get another chance to take a risk, to speak your truth, to build a better version of your life. You are allowed to dream again. You are allowed to fail again. In fact, you are allowed to start again and again and again. And if you've been waiting for a clear sign that it's now your time, well, this is it. 50 episodes ago, I started this journey to explore the mindset of possibilities. And I could never have imagined how far it would go or how many of you would come along for the ride. You've written me, shared your stories, your struggles, your triumphs, and together we've built something real, a space for honesty, curiosity, and courage. So today isn't just about looking back. It's about looking forward to the next 50 episodes and to the life we are still creating together. This podcast isn't just my voice anymore. It's ours. Every listener who decided to grow, to question, to dare, you are a part of this. If there's one message I want you to take away from this milestone episode, it's this. Your life unlived isn't a ghost story. It's an invitation to begin again, to love again, to believe again. Regret is not a wall. It's a door. And on the other side of that door, endless possibility. And you know what? I thank you for listening all along these 50 episodes. Thank you for growing with me. And thank you for believing that it's never too late to create your own new vision with a few old ways. And here's to the next 50 episodes of Newvision Old Ways. If this show has inspired you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that it's never too late to live the life you've imagined. And as always, stay curious, stay brave about things, and keep moving forward and towards your new vision. So Visioneers, what did you think of this episode or any of the past 50 episodes? I would love to find out. And here is where to get a hold of the show and let us know. These are in the show notes, but as always, here they are. As I announced last season, the new newvisionoldways.com website is up and running. Check out all of the episodes, the Revelations blog and news page, and of course there is a subscription link as well as a link that you can click on that will allow you to donate to the show and show your support. And believe me, by donating what you can, it will allow me to book guests, cover costs, anything will help. You can also cancel at any time. You can also message the show from each episode on your various platforms. Just look for the send us a text message link. If that doesn't work for you, you can email us at newvisionoldways@gmail.com. newvisionoldways@gmail.com. You can also find us on what was Twitter, now X, at newvisionoldway. Remember, there's no S there. It's at newvisionoldway. Check out the Newvision Oldways YouTube channel. Type in New Vision, one word, Old Ways, one word, and please subscribe. It is free and will show support for the show. It really means a lot and will help grow the show on YouTube. Find us on Facebook, New Vision Oldways Podcast. You should easily find us. And as a reminder, these are still growing platforms for us and expanding all the time. So we need your help to get the flow going with the community. And last but not least, please do me a huge favor and subscribe to us, like us, follow us. Please leave a review on whatever platform you found us on. That would be so appreciated. That will also help secure those guests we were talking about that we will be booking in the future. So Visioneers, welcome to what is still going on, the best season, which is season number 5. I can't wait to get your input. I also can't wait until we get together for the next episode of New Vision, Old Ways. And until then, stay true to yourself, stay informed, and stay empowered.
But the most important thing is...
This episode and all the episodes of New Vision Old Ways podcast have been written, engineered, and produced by Tony Marinaccio and TKM Productions.